What's good, beautiful people? TGIF. Thank God we are free. Well, I am free. I'm extremely happy that it is Friday. Welcome into the channel. I am Mrs. Best for those who are new here. We are here to do our weekly review of Ladies of London New Reign. I do normally do these reviews in just a regular video format, but I figured since it was the finale and we did have a subscriber, Shani, who was like, I want to see the live so I can interact. So I said, okay, I will go live. But before we get into season 4, episode 10, the Summer Showdown, I'd like everybody to consider seeing the links in the description of this video. There are links to my co-host who do a lot of recaps with me, as well as other great content creators on YouTube. Watch Your Mouth Reviews is in the description. I believe Sandra P. Gen X is in the description as well. She also covers this show, Kiwan JTV, as well as a variety of other people. But let's get into this episode of Ladies of London, because the season was a little bit, no, like I wasn't the most excited or impressed with this season. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel like it could have given a little bit more, but then I also kind of have the feeling like this may have been all they have to give. But overall, I was thoroughly entertained with this season. If I had to rate this season on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the absolute highest score, I would definitely give this season probably a 7.5 to 8. They did pretty good. They did very good, if I'm being entirely honest. They did very good. But we start this finale. Child, I don't have my notes open. We start this finale with Micah having her first etiquette class. She definitely has spent the entirety of this season speaking about her work as an etiquette trainer? I don't quite know what to call it, but I'm honestly just a person that's happy to see somebody teaching other people how to have proper etiquette, because a lot of people just do not do that. So good for her. For Micah, it's a really big deal because this is her first time doing it in the UK. She's primarily made her name working with us grubby Americans who lack etiquette, and it seems like other places. So she's trying to transition her business into the UK. And the UK, I mean, I kind of understand Micah's nerves with it. They set the bar as it relates to etiquette, as we would so think. And I'm sorry, y'all, I got to put on my glasses. I tried. I could not see for the life of me. I genuinely could not see. And I'm about to get my light on as well, because I'm still on the clock, as quiet as it's kept. But Micah's etiquette event, it did come out well. I found it interesting to get to kind of learn like what and why she was doing what she was doing. Lottie's husband ended up dressing her, which I found to be extremely interesting, but I'm here for it. I guess Lottie's husband is like a well-known fashion designer and whatnot. So I was happy to see that Micah has good relationships. When we really think about how the season started and the beef and the drama that she had with Dara and all of that, I was worried about Micah on reality TV, just because I kind of felt like she was timid at first, but now I see that she's not timid. She more so is just truly about her brand. I mean, if you're going to teach etiquette, then I mean, you want to behave in a way that represents somebody who's teaching the basis of etiquette. It makes sense. So it was good for Micah to have this event. It seemed like it really did go well. Other good things that happened at this event was we got to see her husband in person and not through a phone on the camera. It was nice to see that her husband, he does work a lot, but he's probably the primary breadwinner, as quiet as it's kept. But he does work a lot, but he's also willing and able to support his wife whenever he's capable of doing so. I think that's so important. I also think it shows like that there is care in their relationship, because she didn't give us too much with it, but maybe she didn't give us too much because there's not much to give, you know? But her event, before it can start, Mark is in the crowd. and he's sitting with Missy. I don't know where the rest of the group was. I know Lottie was there, but Mark and Missy are sitting next to each other in the front row. And before, Micah comes on stage to, speak about her etiquette and things like that, Mark starts breaking down in tears. And I said to myself, because I like Mark Francis, I don't have no complaints. Hello, my darling twin. It is almost our season. It is almost our season. Gemini's is defrosted, y'all. We sitting in the fridge waiting to be cooked, just marinating. But welcome in, Shani. Shani is the reason why we are doing this live. You are actually not late. We just started. But Shani requested me to go live for Ladies of London. I did not know you guys wanted me to go live, but as they say, closed mouth don't get fed. She opened her mouth and now she is fed. So I am here live. But thank you for being here, and no worries on being late. I know people are getting off of work. Some of us, if we're on the West Coast like me, we're still at work. But no worries. Welcome in. But Micah is getting ready to come on stage, and Mark Francis has a meltdown because he's talking to Missy about how he woke up not feeling the best, not in the best mental space or anything like that. And I'm like, did something happen with his father? Because we know that his daddy's been sick. But the reason Mark was feeling the way he was feeling is because he is affected by Margot. Listen, I get that Margot has been messy the whole season. However, I don't feel like her mess has been anything to take seriously to points where you allow yourself to be in tears. I genuinely do not feel that way. Mark Francis has been handling Margot like it ain't no thing, but apparently hearing that she called him a freak really did resonate with him in a way that's not positive. And it's likely because he was teased growing up, as he said, and called a freak because he is a gay man. And I know that the LGBTQ community has come far, and it is safer to be out today than it was yesterday. However, it's still also something that's very taboo, not just in American culture or religious cultures, but like internationally. So, it's unfortunate that he feels this way, but I also think this is why it's important to do the work on yourself, because Margot was just calling you a freak to call you a freak. The girl is attention seeking and messy for no reason. But to loop that in with childhood trauma was a bit much, but I mean, nobody's perfect. But he got so upset explaining stuff to Missy, and Missy was trying to uplift him and he could not stop crying, but he got up and walked away as Michael was being introduced. And Missy did chase after him. She tried to uplift him and let him know that he's not a freak. He's perfect just the way he is. He's a great human. But Mark, baby, why are you in tears? Like, I just don't feel like nothing that deep happened. But we learned that Micah's the queen of etiquette, as reported by the Daily Mail and several other big companies and magazines and things of that nature. I was surprised to learn that she was in the circus professionally as a kid. That did surprise me. But Micah, I have enjoyed watching her the entire time, y'all. I have enjoyed watching Micah the entire time. She really does genuinely seem sweet. She's trying to assert and have her independence and do what she does with her own company, but she's also focused on her children. She's focused on being a wife. I think she does a good job at showing that you can have the man, the kids, the career, and still be able to juggle it. So I enjoyed watching Micah. Let's see what Shani is saying in these comments. Shani says, I like Mark Francis. I do not appreciate Margot messing with him. Listen, Margot just made Americans look like complete a-holes. I feel like Margot did all that she's been doing just so that she can fit in. If I'm being honest, I feel like she just wants Mark Francis's friendship. Like, it's the only thing that kind of makes sense as to why she would behave the way that she has been behaving. But yeah, I like Mark a lot. He was cool. He was chill. I don't really have too many complaints about him, y'all. I don't have too many complaints about Mark Francis at all. Now, we move into a scene with Margot, because while they're celebrating Micah at her event, we have Margot at her house with her teenage stepsons and her daughter. those boys are so sweet, by the way, with her daughter. You could tell that they love their little sister, and I love that for them and for us and all of that. I absolutely do. But Margot's talking to her boys, and her weekend comes up, and I'm like, is she having a pity party, or have I lost my mind? This hoe was actually having a pity party. So she said to her teenage stepsons, who are like 12 and 13 or something, like they're young, they're not even big teenagers. She lets them know, did you guys hear about my trip? And I'm like, she better not bring up girl drama to some teenage boys that you had to teach to look at you and not your titties. You bet this better not be what I think it is. And unfortunately it was. The boys look at her and they're kind of like, yeah, we heard you didn't have the best time. We're sorry. And they say that they heard she had a panic attack and was extremely upset. I say, y'all must got thin walls in that house, because they knew exactly what was going down before she could say it, unless she was doing it for the camera. Because we know Margot likes attention. That's why nobody feels bad for her. But apparently Margot's husband was upset that she was crying and all of that. And her husband don't want her to hang out with this group of friends anymore, which I don't blame her husband. If I come to my husband crying about a friend, Mr. Best can't hear me in the background. I've actually come home from a girls' trip with friends crying. And he was like, I'm sick of you hanging out with this bitch. He meant it too. He meant it. So of course your husband is going to be on your side, Margot. We kind of expect that to happen. If he wasn't on your side, we'd be looking at you crazy. But everybody expects for your husband to be on your side, girl. Like everybody. But what's crazy is I know that she sold her husband a portion of the story that really only aligned with making her look good. Grow up. Stop having a pity party. At the end of the day, you had a panic attack because you acted a fucking fool and people finally called you out on it. That's what happened. That's what happened, because Martha called her out. Kimmy called her out. Missy tried to get her to stop and understand that she was tripping. Emma walked her royal ass over there and told her about herself and was saying that Mark Francis really doesn't mean this. And everybody has collectively agreed that Margot is doing too much with Mark and that she just struggles to understand and grasp British humor, which I kind of believe. I genuinely believe that, because the stuff that she's mad at doesn't make no sense. But let's get to these comments, y'all, before we move into the next segment of the review. And happy Friday to those who are just joining, and happy Friday to the replay gang, as I know a bunch of you do watch this show when we are not live. But shout out to you. For the finales, I'll go live. It makes sense. Shani said Kimmy never gonna rock with Margot because she hurt Mark Francis, and Mark never really gonna rock with Margot because she made Kimmy cry. That's a friend. That's a friend. That's a friend. Like, that's me. That's James. That's my, that, like, if I consider you a friend, whether I've met you in person or not, like, if somebody make you upset, like, if Shani, if you come on here telling me that somebody cussed you out or made you cry, like, I'm never going to like them. I'm just not. I don't give a fuck what happened, who died, what you went through. I'm just not going to like them. Like, and that's fair. That's how friendship should be. Stay loyal to the cause. We need more loyalty. Shani said, keep your eyes on your stepmama's eyes while she's talking. Right. She said, eyes up. I thought that was the funniest thing. But then her titties, now that I'm looking at them, they're not that big. They're not that damn big. So I don't know. But boys, teenage boys, okay? Teenage boys don't care. Titties is titties, and they gonna love it. They gonna love it. I didn't think she was having a panic attack. I thought she was just overreacting. She was. I think she was just upset that she got caught, maybe embarrassed, and was crying about that. And as Shani calls them little colorless tears, they be quick to cry. And she was backed into a corner. Everybody was holding her accountable. And then she suddenly started crying. That's what it felt like. Shani said, gang, gang, period. Absolutely. 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 Now, after we see a scene with Margot and her husband, we see Lottie and her husband. They are out to eat dinner. Lottie is just adorable. Her husband's adorable too. They're just cute. Like, they make sense as a couple to me. I don't know if it's that way for you guys too, but Lottie and Joshua Kane, they make sense to me as a couple. They're having a talk at dinner, and she seems a little concerned. Yes, Shani. She said, little white whip with tears. But Lottie seems a little concerned about the preparation for them bringing their child in. She is a true woman pregnant with a boy. They say women carry boys better. Girls take your beauty. Sometimes boys are smaller in the womb. Lottie is so tiny, you would never know that she's so far along in her pregnancy. But she has concerns about her husband slowing down. He is a stylist to the celebrities and the stars of the UK, which makes him extremely busy. He says that he intends to not work weekends once the baby arrives, but we know that with a newborn, you could say that, but you're going to have to be there and help your wife and come home more. However, I mean, if he bringing home the bacon, I'm the type of person, I don't care how postpartum I am, I'm going to let my husband please go make the money, because even when I could come off maternity leave, I don't want to work. So I'm that person that's like, do you, be gone, whatever. But I understand where she's coming from and wanting to share those moments. This is their first kid. So that parenting bug has not quite hit him the way that it's probably hitting her, being the one with child. I think Lottie and her husband will be okay. She doesn't give too much outside of the group, but what I will say is she's interesting, she's relevant, and she kind of serves as like the balance, the moral compass for the group, because she never quite takes sides. She always tries to see everyone's perspective. But I don't have much else from that scene with Lottie, especially knowing the update we got at the end of the episode. There's only so much I could say. So, congrats to the new parents. Hell. Shani said, Joshua is my dude. Him and that mustache. Yes. Dude with the fancy mustache. He seems chill. He loves his wife. He takes her with him everywhere. He has her walking his shows. Like Lottie said, he's just different from the traditional heterosexual man. But I love Joshua Kane. He seems like a cool dude. I like how, even though he's like so busy, he's still willing to talk to the show and participate more than a lot of husbands on reality TV for his wife. So I fuck with Joshua the long way. I don't have an issue with him yet, as of now, because we don't know if season 5 come, how it's going to be. We don't know. But we see Missy. She decides to go and visit her brother's grave. I was very surprised to see she chose to have Kimmy come. Here's why. I understand not wanting to bring Margot, because Margot took your brother's situation and made it into a moment for the screen by bringing it to Kimmy and being messy. I understand not bringing Martha, because Martha got a lot going on. We're going to give Martha a pass, okay? Martha's probably cleaning up poop that Hecate left on top of the banister or the crown molding, okay? Martha is busy. And we know Emma has her stuff with Longleat. Everyone's pretty busy. But I found it interesting that she invited Kimmy. I know they made peace, but Kimmy was the one questioning, yo, brother, I'm just like my girl. But I do like seeing that they had a problem. They talked about that problem. Someone tried to keep them in their issue. With Margot tried to perpetuate that issue with Kimmy and Missy, and they still found a way to make peace and move forward. And I like that. It's very rare we see true solution on a Bravo reality television show, y'all. It's very rare. Look at the mess that is Summer House, and look at the scandal that ended VPR. I'm just saying. Hi, Vibe. Hello to you in Chicago. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. Vibe said, Martha's my girl. Martha's just likable. Some people are just likable. Martha gives me likable and lovable. And I love how Martha will say to us over and over all season long, I don't like confrontation. And then confidently engage in some confrontation. So I like Martha. When she was on that horse smiling, I was watching the TV just smiling real big with her, just like a proud grandma. I like Martha. I don't know why. I fuck with Martha the long way. I just want her to cage that bird up from time to time. Like, I just feel like the bird is leaving fecal matter in places she's not even aware of. And that worries me. But what can we do? But Missy visits her brother's grave and things go well. I don't really have much to add, even though I don't know these people. Whenever people do something like visit a grave, speak about someone sick or who has passed away, I feel like even though we like our reviews and stuff, like that's where I'm like, I'll be respectful and just move it on along. But, you know, condolences to the loved ones of Missy's brother, because that I can imagine that has to be difficult. Shani said, I can hang with Martha, just not in her house. I don't rap with birds. Nothing that can fly at your face or your eye. Y'all remember that movie, The Birds? It's very old. It was filmed in Northern California in Bodega Bay. But I think of that movie. I always think of that movie. I love old movies, y'all. I'm a weirdo. Vibe said, Mark said, quote, this ain't a movie scene, and walked out. Right. Honestly, I don't blame him. Margot was doing too much and nothing at the same time. Hashtag confused but gone. That's Mark Francis is an example for all men on reality TV and how to handle these crazy bitches. I said it. Okay. He said, I'm not doing this. I'm walking out. He sure did. He sure did. And that's the scene we're going to get to next, actually, because Mark received a text from Margot, a disingenuous text that Micah, bless her heart, wrote for him. Micah was looking at that text message. Micah said, no, don't say that. Okay, you're going to want to dot your I and put a comma. And you want to make sure. I said, if I were to get a sincere text message from Margot, if I were Mark, and she were to come to this meeting and act right, which she didn't, I would rewatch this season when it aired and still feel a way about Margot, because bitch, you had to have somebody else write these words for you. It's not an apology if somebody else got to do it for you. It don't count. And it seems like she's just making peace because she doesn't want people to look at her crazy, and she sees that nobody's on her side. I feel like Margot, one of them clear women who used to get in her way. I just do, because they're not all like that, but Margot definitely gives that. But Mark Francis is there. He doesn't look happy. The restaurant was lovely. It was empty, but it was beautiful on the water. They make me want to live in London. I like weather like that. It's kind of like foggy and overcast. But Margot says that when she arrives, that when she looks at things from an honest perspective, that she can acknowledge that she has not been kind and she has not been a good friend. And she starts out good and says that she has to take responsibility for her actions. I said, okay, good start. Mark Francis responds because he's extremely hurt. And he says that at Longleat, and he was specific to not say anything else. He said at Longleat, Margot made him feel triggered because he went through things coming up as a gay boy, being referred to as a freak. And he feels like Margot has a narcissistic personality. I love that he said that shit to her face. And he also explains that he is not ready to be close to people who will lie and be nasty. And child, I thought that that was the best thing he could have said, because it was true. She does have a narcissistic personality. She has to be the center of attention. She's willing to hurt other people for it. Doesn't seem to care at all. And, you know, Margot says, but we're not close to, you know, I don't know you. And he says, the reason you don't know me is because of you. And I kind of respected Mark for how he handled that, because in real life, right? If I go meet somebody in person, let's say I go meet up with Shani or Vibe in person, and we're meeting for the first time and I'm rude or problematic, it's going to make it hard for them to get to know me. They're going to want to avoid me. That's human nature, to avoid people who are problematic, unless you have the right one that day, and then you might get cussed out or have a problem. But it doesn't make sense that Margot is trying to act like this is difficult to understand. It's not difficult to understand, Margot. It is not difficult to understand at all. If you wrong people, it's going to be hard for them to want to get close to you. And Mark Francis explains to Margot she could have known him if she would have made an effort to get to know him instead of picking a problem, which I agreed with. And as soon as she saw that it was not going to be easy, in my opinion, to get back on Mark's good side, and as soon as she saw that he's interested in being cordial but not being actual friends, she took it back to hell. She took it back to hell and said that he's always big and fake. And I'm like, wait, what? Now we call him Mark big and fake? So just because it's going to take him time to forgive you and get to know you, and you're not getting what you want, which is you and him having peace, because you having peace with him benefits yourself because it makes it easier for you in the group. Now you want to take back the apology you claim you had and say that he's big and fake. He has the same personality everywhere that he goes. And it seems like the only problem she has is because he talked about her clothes, and her clothes do be looking crazy. Y'all seen what she wore in the last scene of the finale to that event? I was like, what the hell is she wearing? The bitch wasn't even matching. I didn't understand it. So I don't know what the issue is, but Mark Francis got annoyed. She started to say he probably just wants to sleep with her. And I'm like, vibe, the bitch is crazy. I'm sorry. The bitch is crazy. This is not postpartum. This is not PMS. This is not PMDD. This is not a hormonal imbalance. This bitch is crazy. For real, for real. I really think she is. Just a little bit. And not crazy like, oh, 5150 her, put her on a cycle. No. She's just crazy. Like some people just loopy. She not willing to admit she's wrong. She don't like she can't get her way. So she gonna cause a problem with Mark. And she gonna keep doing it. Look, Mark told her not one lie. I respect people who do that. Because at least you know what you get with him. Mark confronting her the way that he confronted her gave him more credibility than she'll have. Now going into season 2, if they get one, or season 5, she's definitely going to be somebody looked at as messy for no reason. Because Margot went and started shit about everything, stirred the pot on stuff that had nothing to do with her for 10 episodes. And when people finally called her out on it, didn't even get to hold her accountable, just called her out, she acted like a victim. That's why people be not trusting white American women. I said what I said. Vibe said, I felt Mark on that one. I've been in a situation where someone was doing everything and saying nothing. Confusing for no reason. Sometimes walking away is the only option. That's wisdom and a word that people of all freaking ages, colors, whatever race you are, what language you speak can use. Like sometimes walking away is truly the only thing. I didn't understand that until like my late 20s when somebody irritated me so bad. And I was like, it's just not worth the energy of whooping their ass. It's not worth the potential. It's not worth any of it. I just walked away, and you can have it. You can have your opinion, your feelings, your thoughts, all of it. But Marco's not used to that. And you could tell she's not used to that because she did not seem to know what to do or how to handle it. But Mark walked away from everything, which made me giggle something vicious, because then she goes, well, I guess I'll pay for it. Girl, he ordered tea. You was paying all of $5. Stop. All y'all had was tea. But we're going to move it forward, you guys. Let me know how y'all felt about Margot and Mark. If they come back, let me know if y'all think this will come back for season 5. But I'm wondering if they'll ever make peace. Do y'all think that Margot and Mark will ever make peace? Or do we think that Margot's just a lost cause? Because I'm starting to feel like Homegirl is a lost cause in my little brain. I feel like she'll always be this way. And even though she got on my nerves and I don't feel she was right, all her shenanigans kept the show going. They definitely kept the show going. But I feel like this format, if she follows it, can get boring quick. Vibe said he don't think so. Yeah, it can. I feel like Mark is truly just done. He seems like a person that once he feels disdain towards you, he's over it. I'm curious if they're going to come back, though, for season 5, because this is their finale, but I'm just wondering if they'll make it back, because I heard that the ratings for the reboot were like up and down. And originally, I think it's because everyone thought it was going to be on Peacock, and then it ended up on cable. So I don't know. Not by Felicia, a.k.a. Margot. We're going to call Margot Felicia. Lord help her. Lord help her. Y'all are funny. Y'all, everybody's attending Joshua Kane's fashion show, who is Lottie's husband. Lottie walks in the show. We see some of the women are there as well. Some of them came wearing his clothes, like Missy. I thought it was nice that the ladies were supportive. of Lottie, but I think it's easy to support Lottie because she genuinely seems like she's not so problematic. Shani said, and then Margot did that rudeness last week where she just broke out and didn't even say anything to anybody. Right, if I'm going to leave an event, I'm going to at least tell production, like, can y'all let Emma know I apologize? Like, you can speak through your panic attack, but Margot's not going to be accountable for anything. The clothes in the fashion show. Who's wearing these clothes and where are they wearing them in London? Now, the fashion show, the clothes did give a cross between Bridgerton and Alice in Wonderland, the reboot with Johnny Depp. It did give, or not Alice in Wonderland. It did give the Willy Wonka a little bit of Alice in Wonderland mixed in with Bridgerton. It definitely did, the clothes, but obviously this is what Joshua Kane likes to wear. I don't know who's wearing it. Maybe this is why he's a fashion designer to the celebrities. Because regular people day to day are not wearing this. Even if we get dressed up somewhere, we're not wearing nothing that look like that. But yes, girl, the clothes were out there. I like the fashion show too vibe. I like seeing a fashion designer do a fashion show and the fashions actually look like something the designer would make or wear themselves. I feel like a lot of times we see fashion shows and I'm like, all of this for this just piece of cloth. But at least his clothes has some pizzazz. So I'll give him that. But they reminded me of something you would see if you're watching Bridgerton, Alice in Wonderland, Willy Wonka. Like, it did remind me of clothing that you could see in like a fantasy show or something like that. And that could be something they could do as well. That could be a good thing as well. But he's very successful. So somebody definitely likes and wears his clothing. But the whole cast is coming. Everything is going well until Margot walks in, of course. Margot walks in and she says she is free of Mark's drama. Where's the comment from Vibe? Where did it go? There it is. She's crazy. Mark freed himself from the drama with you. He don't talk to you. He don't acknowledge you. Every time he walks in a room, the last like 5 episodes, Margot's like, Mark is here. I wonder what he's going to say about me. What's his problem? This and that. And then he gets back to him and that's when he starts talking shit. Girl. But she's free of Mark. And she says that she wants to talk to Martha because we have to remember Margot and Martha have had a 20+ year friendship. It looks like to me that their friendship was one of those friendships where you kind of just call the person to go out. I do have friends like that where if I'm traveling, I can hit them up and be like, hey, I'm in Arizona. Hey, I'm in New York. Hey, I'm in this place. And we just go out and brunch and club and have a good time. There are some friends that you just do activities with. And then I have my friends that I talk to about deeper stuff, you know, like James and, you know, some of the people who've known me for years and years. So I get that part, but I just can't understand Martha and Margot's, like, honestly, Margot has Martha fucked up. If I'm being honest, I don't have a nice word. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to curse y'all. I'm trying to do my best and get better. But Margot has Martha fucked up. Martha has corrected her friend in private, but publicly has stood beside her. So I'm looking at her and I'm kind of like, you have no reason to be mad at Martha. You just don't like when people tell you that you're wrong. You just don't like when people tell you that you're wrong. It's really that simple. You don't like it. So they haven't spoken because Margot blocked Martha for no apparent reason because she didn't like that Martha wasn't on her side. And they say hello. They do say hello to each other. And Margot greets everybody except for Mark Francis. And I love Mark Francis. He was talking and he said, I'm going to keep talking and I'm not going to worry about or look at you. And Margot finally accepted that she cannot throw a fit about this because people are tired. The people is tired, boo. They are heavily tired. But after the fashion show, Margot and Martha do get a chance to talk to each other. Martha basically says that she hates confrontation. That's what my girl always say. I'm a Martha stan. I love me some Martha. I feel like everything about her is truly British and it makes me happy. From her hair to how she curls it to the hat that she wore at this event to her not liking confrontation. Listen, Martha said I was royalty. Now I'm broke. I'm just trying to build my life, ride my horses, and feed my bird. And I also agree with Vibe. I feel like Martha is such a good friend for the exact reason that Margot is mad at her. Your friends are going to privately tell you the truth, but stand for you publicly and not let nobody play with you. Martha has defended Margot time and time again to where she had a little rift with her friend Kimmy and issues with her other friends. That's how hard she was going for Margot. So it's like the audacity of you to think that Martha owes you anything and to block somebody like that who has been there for you. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, Martha just seems to like chaos, in my opinion. But I was proud of Martha because she told Margot that since she has come back from America, she has been bitchy and difficult to get along with. And she, Margot responded to Martha by saying, because she was like, oh, I'm being held accountable. Uh-oh. So instead of saying, I apologize that you feel that way, or asking how she's been bitchy or whatever, she says, well, do you know what happened with me and Mark yesterday? Bitch, how would she know if you blocked her? You blocked her. How the fuck she supposed to know you went through something if you fucking blocked her and you didn't hit her up to tell her? And why are you saying, as a response to your friend telling you that you've been a bitch and difficult and starting shit for no reason, why is your response to that, do you know what happened with me and Mark yesterday? Narcissism brought that shit right back onto herself. And she says this, and Martha pretty much finally stood on business. Martha stood 10 toes down. She said, listen, Margot, you say these things about Mark, but you're not admitting the stuff that you're doing as well. And you have caused quite a ruckus. And, Margot tries to deny it and say she hasn't. And Mark has insulted her and her clothes. And Martha said verbatim, she said, honey, but listen to me. He insulted your shoes because he didn't like what you were wearing. So you insult his entire character. Basically, the crime doesn't fit. It doesn't match. You're supposed to match energy, but you took it straight to hell. You took it straight to hell. And Martha's trying to explain this to her. And Margot is just sitting there, and you could tell that she just was not understanding it. So then she says, when she has to be held accountable, Margot says to Martha, she goes, well, everyone's only making fun of my clothes because of you. If you didn't make fun of because you didn't like my jumpsuit, then Mark Francis wouldn't have anything to go on. You gave him something to go on. So now, because your friend didn't like your jumpsuit, sometimes I wear stuff, and my best friend, who I've known for longer than James, she will come to me and be like, girl, I don't like this on you. I don't like it. That's okay. Okay? Sometimes somebody says something. It doesn't mean that Martha's one statement is the reason that Mark Francis feels this way. So now you're saying that these people are weak-minded and everyone hates her clothes because of Mark? Baby girl, look what you're wearing in this moment that you're talking to your friend. You don't dress well. You may be wearing expensive stuff, but you're not putting it together right. I said what I said. It's just how I feel about Miss Margot. But Margot then claims that she and Martha have not had an argument in 25 years of friendship or something until Mark Francis became an issue. And Martha called bullshit and said, no, I've lived in London all my life, and these have been my friends. The issue is you. I said, that's right. That's right. That's absolutely correct. I was happy that Martha stood up to her, and Margot's just looking for people to blame. And Martha ended her point saying, the thing of it is, you just not agreeing and understanding British society. They do agree to disagree. And it was funny because at the end of it in the confessional, Margot was like, me and Martha have been friends forever, so I'm sure we'll be fine. And Martha said, I need a damn break. She said, I'm sick of you. You ruined my summer. I'm on TV. You made this difficult. You did too fucking much. Margot is sick of it all. But they give us an update production that they did not speak for some time, and then they said they're back speaking. But as Shani's Comment says Martha and Margot are no longer friends. Poor Martha, who was on Watch What Happens Live last night. I did watch it, and that is correct. So in real time, they're not friends. And honestly, that's Margot's fucking loss. Margot, I think, just wants to be relevant. I think that she's okay with chaos and scandal. I agree with Vibe that Martha is a really good friend, and I think it's unfortunate how Margot treated the friendship. She's setting herself up to be its villain on reality TV, which is good because it keeps you on TV. But if you're really ending 25-year friendships for a season of a show that you're a reboot on that you don't know is coming back, that's already struggling, was it really worth it? Like, you got to value your friends and people a little more than you do wanting to be on TV. That's just my opinion, y'all. That's just my opinion. And I do think that Margot is a narcissist and could stand to do some work on herself. But if you understand how narcissists work, you know that's very hard for her to do. But let me get the rest of the comments, beautiful people. Shani said, I love Martha telling Kimmy, I love you, but you're a psych. She said, I love you, but you're a psychotic bitch. I was like, I love this show. When she did that, I loved it. And Kimmy didn't argue it. She was like, I know. Hey, can't argue it. I loved it. Vibe said Martha should have said, girl, I'm blocked. Right. Sometimes I wish that there was like just somebody more spunkier, because that would have been me. Bitch, I'm blocked. How am I supposed to tell you anything? How are you supposed to know what's really good? How are you supposed to know what's going on? How? When you have blocked me. Raggedy bitch. Don't make no sense, Lord. Shani said, but the black chick on the show be saying, Mark be talking about mad stuff about her clothes, and that's her best friend and her son's godfather. So Margot, no, he's not just picking on you. Thank you. Emma did say that Mark be talking about her clothes. Brits, what do they say? Keep calm and carry on. Like, I've met a couple of people being in the Bay Area. We have people from all over the world. I've met a couple of people from the UK, and they really do have that attitude and a drier sense of humor than is inept to American culture. Like, cultural competence is so important. That is the reason why people have to take psych courses or anthropology in your GEs. You have to take a class or two of that. Like, there's a reason why. But, you know, Margot just made a problem for no reason. I think she forgot she was on camera and her lies caught up, and she wasn't expecting that. But her husband, who didn't want to marry her, is so rich. So, you know, maybe she'll live life there. Hi, Kiwan. I hope that you had a good day at work. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Y'all, Kiwan's link is in the description of this video. She is on the road to 1,000 just like me with subscribers and has been doing a great job. Also covers scripted shows, reality TV. She's interested in covering documentary reviews. And we will be live after this live with Kiwan JTV, as well as Watch Your Mouth reviews to go over part 2 of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kiwan, if you would like to lead that live, feel free, because a bitch is tired. Feel free. I'm just there. Shani said Kimmy called it when it comes to Margot. When she told her, I hope you turn out to be the friend Martha thinks that you are. She sure did. She sure did. Absolutely did. Absolutely did. And you're not the friend to Martha. She's not. She definitely is not. Vibe said, if I was on that show, I'd be cool with everybody. I'd make up just to break up again. Keep the drama flowing and the cameras rolling. I'm here for the storyline. That's what Margot should have thought about. She should have slowed down her terror that she unleashed on this cast and saved some of it for next season. Hell, she done given us like 4 seasons of foolery in 10 episodes. She really has. She really has. Oh, don't worry about it. I have notes. Don't worry about it, Kiwan. Don't you worry at all. Don't worry. I know you do. Y'all, shout out to Kiwan's cousin. Also, High Vibes Candle and Fragrance Company and LLC. If you are interested in a candle, hit Kiwan up, hit me up, and we will direct you to her. It is very easy to order one. Support a Black-owned business and a soy candle that was made by hand that make your house smell so good. So good. I love it. But y'all, that's really it for Ladies of London. From what I'm hearing, word on the curb, there is not going to be a reunion, which I can understand. I don't know how they're going to get these heifers from the UK to New York so that Andy can, cover all of them, because some of them live in Sweden, some of them they're all over the place. But I heard that there's not going to be a reunion. I don't really think a reunion is necessary. I'm seeing a lot of newer shows across different networks like not doing reunion. And I feel like sometimes reunions make the drama a little bit too negative or take it to a place I can't come back from. So I'm not mad if they don't do a reunion, but I do hope Ladies of London comes back. I did enjoy watching this. It was a breath of fresh air. I'm going to lose Ladies of London and the Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I will be adding 90 Day Fiance to the roster starting on May 10th. I'm also starting in June going to add 90 Day Hunt for Love. I'll also be doing 90 Day the Other Way and Love After Lockup once it's back at the end of this month. So tap into that. She said, don't worry, you're stressed about it, sis. Part 2 was not that interesting. It wasn't. This could have been a 2-part reunion, but they dragged it out to accommodate the egos of them clear women. I said what I said. It does smell hella good. Without even lighting it, when I got it in my little USPS box, that shit smelled good through the box. I said, for anything to come through the West Oakland distribution center and not smell like weed, I said it must really smell good. So shout out to High Vibe Candle Fragrance Company. If you have a brand or anything that you would like me to share on the channel, I am always willing to do that for entrepreneurs, people starting their businesses, and especially Black-owned businesses. We will always shout you out, especially if your product is good. Especially if your product is good. Also, shout out to Indoor Parade. We've worn their clothes on this channel as well. But y'all, that is it. I'm going to head into my review. It starts in just 10 minutes with Kiwan and James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. I hope everybody has the best day. Thank you for supporting my Ladies of London New Reign reviews. And if there is a show you guys would like me to cover, I pretty much got every fucking streaming app. Literally. From Peacock to Amazon to MGM to HBO Max to I have YouTube TV. I got cable too. Lord, if there's something you are interested in having me cover, give me a reason to use these apps. Leave a comment, DM me, email me, whatever works. I do cover shows you guys ask for. I believe it was Shani who asked me to cover this show. So let me know. Other than that, I hope everybody has a really good weekend. Happy May. Happy May. Happy May. Happy May. And I will see y'all in the next live. Au revoir.